Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. A person in the comments section, Baruch Hashem, he asked me to make a video on this subject about how Hashem is where you let him in. It's a beautiful, beautiful concept, and I wanted to be able to touch upon this idea because it's very relevant to each and every one of us. So of course we know that Hashem is where we let him in. That immediately when somebody desires Hashem comes in, comes close. And this is directly connected to desiring Hashem. That was we've spoken about in previous videos. The highest level of our conscious faculty is our desire, our will. And when a person wants something, that is the highest level of his conscious, of his expression as a person, and that sets the stage for everything else that follows. You know, if you ask any person who created a certain, whatever it may be, a project, whatever, someone established a business or an idea, a movement, whatever it may be, they'll explain to you that it started because they have the desire to do so. When they have the desire to do so, the desire sets the stage for everything else. So too in our relationship with our Creator, and how much more so that the way that we bring Hashem into our life is by simply starting off by desiring Him in our lives, and by thinking about how we should desire Him, and that arouses, you know, a desire to act upon that desire, and to live our lives in a way where we bring Hashem close. And of course, we're not just limited to that. Of course, everything we do arouses a reaction from Hashem. Of course. You know, every action that we do, that man, woman perform in this world, Hashem reflects us, and He comes close to us. So of course we just have to make the first move, as they say, because when we make the first move, Hashem created us in this world where we have free will and we have the ability to choose. So therefore, when we choose to get close to Hashem, Hashem comes close to us, and of course we don't have to do backflips and cartwheels, so to speak, but just by simply desiring, that will set the stage, and Hashem will come into our life, and He'll reveal Himself and come close to us in many different ways. It doesn't just mean that it doesn't mean that it has to be a clear, obviously right away where a person shows a desire for Hashem. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden Hashem's going to reveal Himself totally to the person, but it means that when a person desires to come close to Hashem, they'll be able to see Hashem within every situation that they're in. Because as we know, Hashem is as involved in a leaf falling as in the deepest moments, as the Baal Shem Tov says. A leaf doesn't even fall from the tree without the command of God. So how much more so can we feel Hashem's presence in the meaningful moments of our lives? And so of course we'll become close to Hashem. So by simply desiring Hashem, then we allow ourselves to see the world through the lens of God is running the show, and we see God's revelation throughout every fine detail of this world. This allows us to live life in a much more refined way, in a manner in which we're far more connected to the Creator. There's another way, to an even deeper level, to do this is by giving ourselves over to Hashem. There's also the analogy to connect to what we just said, that when a person, the sun, like the analogy of the sun shining. The sun shines. It's shining no matter what. What makes your room bright is if you open the blinds, open the curtains. And as soon as you open the curtains, you automatically the light automatically comes in. So too with Hashem, and how much more so, we open, so to speak, the curtains of our heart up to Hashem. He immediately comes in. There's no other fact that has to be done. We don't have to, do any fancy things. The second we desire Hashem, He comes in. And we can take this deeper, as I was getting into, that by establishing our connection to God at a level that's even higher than logic. This is connected to the holy holiday of Shavuos, because the Jewish people, before they accepted the Torah, they said Naseh v'nishma, and that's through that merit that prepared them, and they were granted with the gift of the Torah in that merit. What does that mean, Naseh v'nishma? Hashem said, "Do you want my Torah?" And the Jewish people said, "Yes, we want it, and then we'll understand." First they said, "Yes, we'll do whatever you want, Hashem, and then we'll understand. Then we'll go into the details and understand what they mean, but we'll do them." So we learn from this that this is a lesson to us in every moment in our service of Hashem. That first we do it, and then we'll understand. What does this mean? Our connection to God is at the level of ratzon, will. I'll do what Hashem wants. Hashem, whatever you tell me, I'll do. And if I understand it, good, and if I don't, I'll still do it. But there's a deeper level to this, that actually, when a person is connected to God at a way where they're beyond logic, just like, of course, we always give the analogy that the parent loves their child in a way that's beyond logic, and this is in a way beyond logic, and that the mother or the father doesn't have to logically understand why they love their child, but there's an automatic arousal of love for this child. So too, we have this connection to Hashem that's beyond logic. And when we establish that when we establish that we're connected to God beyond logic, that puts us in a manner where we're appropriate, and we could receive Hashem's light in a way of understanding as well. Because of course, the whole Torah is about bringing godliness into a way of understanding, that it should go into our logic and we could grasp it and feel it with our emotions and live it with our actions. So it's supposed to go into our logic. So how could it be? So is it supposed to go to our logic, or is it supposed to be above logic? The answer is both. Our connection to Hashem is far beyond logic, but we also want to bring it down into our logic and understand all the details and all the levels and the beauty of it and the beauty of Hashem. We're very pro that. We want to understand. But our relationship with Hashem is not dependent on our understanding. That's the main point. We want to come to a place where we understand godly ideas, but our relationship with Hashem is far beyond logic. So even in times where we don't understand ideas, it doesn't affect our established relationship to Hashem at all. If we come to understand it, beautiful, it's a mitzvah to know Hashem with our logic. But when we don't understand an idea, it doesn't have any effect on our connection to Hashem, because our connection to Hashem is far beyond logic, similarly to the way the parent loves the child. How much more so? Because obviously Hashem is even beyond our parents, even beyond the love a parent has for a child. Now, to understand this better, we have to also appreciate the fact that Hashem wants us to want Him. Hashem could come and reveal Himself to the entire world right now, and the whole world will be completely in awe and accept Him and be completely given over to Him. But Hashem wants it to come from our part. Therefore, what better way to bring Hashem into our life? Because obviously the person in the comments, he asked how bringing Hashem into our lives. A great way to do this is to show Hashem that we want Him to reign over us. That we live in a world right now where the whole society and all the, not all of society, but a lot of things that a person can be involved with in this world can push him to being self-absorbed and self-involved. The whole world is screaming, you, where are you? How much money did you make? How much did you do? All these things that are subconsciously affecting each and every one of us. Chas v'shalom. It doesn't have to. Torah is the remedy, but a lot of people, God forbid, have been affected by this. What better way to involve ourselves with Hashem than in a world like this where people are pushed to be so self-absorbed? We say, Hashem, I'm interested in you. I want you to reign over me. Hashem, in a world where naturally we have such a desire to be self-absorbed, I desire you to be in charge. I desire you to reign over me. And when we do that, when we tell Hashem, I want you to be king, I'm interested in you being my king, then that arouses Hashem's desire to reign over us. But the subjects have to crown the king. The king can't crown himself. That's why Hashem wants us to push Him to reign over us. And we do that. That arouses Hashem to reign over us, and it arouses our soul to be reigned over by God. And that's a tremendous feeling. And this could actually, when we push ourselves to come to a place to desire Hashem, then that affects our whole conscious experience. Even though it's a level beyond logic, it comes down into the logic, and we'll be able to actually understand things much better when we're connected to Hashem at that level. And our understanding and our chokhmah, bina das, wisdom, thoughts, and understanding and knowledge will flow much greater, go down into our emotions, and we'll feel aroused by this. Actually, and something to add to this, it's very interesting that my brother inspired me to talk about, not even just to talk about, we were speaking about it yesterday, and it touched me, and I think it's so relevant to this idea, is that another way to show Hashem that we want Him to reign over us is to do mitzvahs. This is like the prelude to what my brother said, is that how do we show Hashem that we want Him to be our king? We prove it to Him by accepting His Torah, by doing His mitzvahs, by serving Him. By us serving Him and doing what He tells us to do, we're proving to Him that we want Him to be our king. And that connects us to Him in an unimaginable way. And we proved, and because a lot of mitzvahs are above logic, like the red heifer and some levels of kashrus, kosher, and Shabbos is somewhat logical, but there's many mitzvahs that are somewhat logical that you could partially understand, but the main reason for them is because Hashem desires it. And there's other mitzvahs where even if the Torah didn't tell us to do it, we would know it shouldn't be done, like not to murder, not to steal. But the main idea of mitzvahs is Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shamayim, accepting Hashem as king, because we don't do mitzvahs because they make sense to us. It doesn't logically necessarily always make sense why we should put tefillin, the scrolls, the phylacteries of Bible verses upon our heart and upon our between our eyes, that we should put these scrolls, Bible verses upon ourselves. We can't consciously understand all the details of it, but we recognize that Hashem's telling us to do this, so obviously there's an important reason for it that's above our grasp. So that's the proof. That's how we prove to Hashem that we're interested in Him reigning over us, is when we do things that He tells us to do that on our own we maybe wouldn't want to do. But because Hashem's telling to do this, we do it b'simcha, and it's our greatest joy to do it. And to take it a step further, my brother was explaining how the Alter Rebbe says that we have to, when performing a commandment, in order to actually completely do the mitzvah in a complete, proper way, we have to do it with a way of love and fear. And if we don't do a mitzvah with love and fear, we're just doing a drop of what the mitzvah was really meant to be. But when we perform a mitzvah with love and fear, we're connected to Hashem in a far deeper way, and the mitzvah itself is much more connected to Hashem. The mitzvah means positive action, commandment that we do. And there's also negative commands, and don't do this. And by not doing a sin, you're also doing a positive thing. But when you do it with love and fear, you connect the mitzvah in a much deeper way. When you serve Hashem in a way just like dry action, so you're still connecting to Hashem, of course, but in a much more superficial exterior way. But when you connect to Hashem with love and fear, the inner life force of this connection is revealed. And love and fear is very interesting because it alludes also to how Hashem is our Father and our King. The fear refers to how He's our King, and the love refers to how He's our Father. And we have both of these aspects in our relationship with our Creator. We have this complete relationship that He's both our King and our Father, our King. But we actually sometimes, when we sing to Him, we say, our Father, our King, to arouse mercy, to say, Hashem, you're our Father. Of course you're our King, but you're our Father. Have mercy on us. But these both aspects, it's incomplete to just have love of Hashem, and it's incomplete to just have fear of Hashem. But when you have both fear of Hashem and love of Hashem, they combine for a more powerful effect together. They work in unison together. With that, and also the Rebbe explains, to end off with this, the Rebbe explains, when we perform a commandment, when we serve Hashem without love and fear, it's true we're bringing down godly light, but we're bringing a spark that's disconnected from the source. He explains how that's Zer Anpin and Malchus of Atzilus, but basically to explain for this video, it means when we connect to Hashem without the proper focus, love and fear, we're bringing a godly spark into the world, which is great, but it's disconnected from the source. But when we do it with a way of love and fear and focus, and specifically the Rebbe says when we perform it right now as if it's the first time we're doing it, with like a renewed life force, as if it's the first time we're doing it, like when a person does a mitzvah for the first time, it has a special energy. When we serve Hashem right now as if it's the first time, the spark is no longer disconnected for the source, but it's connected to Hashem, the infinite godly light, as it is in this world. So we draw down a much greater light when we have this focus, an incomparably greater light when we have the love and fear of Hashem. Because when we don't have love and fear, it's true, we're doing a positive thing, we're bringing light into the world, but it's a limited spark. But when we connect to Hashem with the proper love and fear, we bring the infinite light into the physical world and illuminate with Hashem's help. And with that, with the coming Mashiach, it'll all be revealed to us. So let us desire to come close to Hashem. And we don't have to do magic, chas v'shalom. We don't have to do backflips. We just need to remember that we have the ability to desire Hashem. And when we desire Hashem, that sets the stage for everything, because Ratzon, will, is the highest level of our faculties. Desire is when you're taking your innermost part of yourself and you're moving and you're pushing your innermost part of yourself towards something. So when you desire Hashem, you're taking your innermost part of yourself and pushing yourself towards Hashem and directing yourself towards Hashem. And when you desire something, everything else follows. So let us work on that. Let it happen today. Let it be revealed to all of us. Thank you so much to the holy person who requested me to post this very big mitzvah on your part. May we all be blessed and see the coming Mashiach today.